Luis. Welcome, everyone. Duriel, do you want to go ahead with the announcements for our students
hmm
here?
Sure. Hi everyone. Uh, Hope you had a nice weekend. Thank you for joining today's class. We're excited to see you here. Just a reminder, please turn your cameras on. It helps the class be more fun and engaging for everyone. Attendance points go only to those visible to the facilitator and the YC staff. If you have any technical issues or school commitments, please message YC staff will so that you can be marked as excused. And also, no participation equals no points. So let's show up and shine. Another quick reminder for our alumni and student leaders: please add alumni or SL to your names so that everyone's attendance can be recorded correctly. Thank you for keeping things organized. Hope you had a good time today learning.
Awesome. Thank you, Duriel.
Thank you, Tauren.
Yeah, welcome. Do we have the poll up available for us this morning? Or this
hmm
morning?
I,
This evening. There we
I
go.
just started
Awesome.
it.
Thank you so much. So everybody go ahead and take your time getting through that poll. Go ahead and participate. And Darrell, if you could put up the slides deck for me as
Sure.
well. Perfect. I'll give you guys a couple minutes here. And I'm going to be looking for volunteers as usual, but if not, I'll come find you. All right.
Also, just wanted to add, Torin, if it's okay,
Hmm.
in the announcements, for those alumni or student leaders who are experiencing some technical issues, please do let me know just so we could track that one since we will be having breakout rooms for today. Okay? Thank you so much, Torin.
No problem. That's very important. We'll have some good breakout rooms today. Let's see. All right. So now we're going to talk about like how we naturally work. So I want to hear from someone. Question one is a good one. When you start a new project or assignment, what's the first thing you usually do? And who would like to volunteer to let us know how you work? All right, Sakura, come on in.
Alright. So usually when I am getting ready on a new project, I like to think about how to look when it's done, because it just makes it easier to plan things out a little better if I know what the end goal is and be like, okay, like if it's a poster, I'd be like, okay, I know I want it to be organized in this certain way, so it makes it easier to size things a certain way or just easier to visualize and put it together more like neatly.
Oh, that's cool. I actually have friends who work that way. Just started with the end and then work backwards, breaking it down. That's super smart. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else want to jump in? And again, there's no right answer. This is like all we're talking about today is how you naturally organize the world, right? So who wants to be brave enough to share? All right, Anthony, come on in. Oh, it's dark where you are.
Yeah. All right. So the question was, what do we do like when we have to do something? Like kind of
When you start a new project or assignment, what's the first thing you usually do?
right. So I put the just jump right into it. Uh
Okay.
saying jump on the work, don't let the work jump on you. I feel like if you spend time planning things out, at the end of the day, like that time, you're burning time. So might as well just jump into it and then plan while doing it. You don't want to be left behind.
Okay, so you at the last place I worked, we used to say we like to build the plane while flying it, right? So that's kind of how I work as well. But again, there's different styles. There's no right way, but that's usually how I do. I get in and then break things and then work backwards. Which every style has its own trade-offs, right? This is all about getting to know yourself. All right, thank you so much for your participation. Let's go to the next slide, please. All right, so last week with business communication, did anybody, just as a raise of hands, you don't have to participate, but I just want to see if anybody had any sort of breakthroughs with communicating with with your teachers or in your personal life. I know you're coming towards the end of semester, so you're probably organizing your work and maybe catching up on things. Anybody want to share? All right, that's okay. You were very thorough in your survey responses. I enjoyed reading those, and it looks like you all are working on some very interesting stuff. Let's go to the next slide, please. So this week we're going to be talking about the Kolbe Index, and this one is pretty interesting. So it's named after Kathy Kolbe, and Kathy Kolbe is actually the daughter of Eldon Wunderlich. Those of you who follow the NFL during the combine for college students going to be professionals, they have the Wunderlich test to sort of, which is more of like a cognitive test. Um, Kathy, she came up with something that's complete opposite, right? So her idea is we're equally able to do creative problem solving. All human beings are. And so what you want to think about is not the cognition part, right? So not trying to think your way through something, but when you stop and you're really, really observing yourself, you think about what a cat does when it chases a mouse, right? We're talking pure instinct. This is what you naturally do. And the whole idea and goal of this is to figure out how to work best to your strengths, right? We're not trying to change you. We're trying to fundamentally organize around the way that you naturally are, right? So we had somebody Sakura, who starts at the end and works backwards, sort of like really, like that's a very systematic process. And then you have Anthony and myself, who we just go and get our hands dirty and then create systems as we go, right? So again, no wrong answer. It's just knowing how do I personally work, and that's really great in teams. Once you know how everyone works, you can collaborate a little bit better. Um, so we're going to understand what the Kolbe Index measures, learn the four action modes, and recognize natural patterns, and practice using strengths and collaboration by identifying blind spots. And communicating your work styles. This is where I imagine the breakout rooms are going to be a lot of fun and getting to know each other and how we work naturally. Let's go to the next slide. All right. Why it matters. So again, this is not how to measure personality, how you feel or how you think. It measures how you naturally take action. Um, and okay, so these are the 5 points here. It reveals your instincts, strengths, the way you solve problems, make decisions, and get things done. And everyone has unique natural instincts. Like I said, there's no good or bad type, just different ways of approaching things and paths to success. When you understand your Kobe strengths, you can stop fighting your instincts and start working with them. People who use their Kobe strengths report higher confidence, better teamwork, and less stress. So a great example of that is for a good amount of, I'd say like my early high school career, I really wanted to be like Sakura. I wished I was an organized, detailed person who starts from the end and like plans the whole roadmap out and then I get to work because that seemed like a more like an experience that teachers who sort of think that way, like they seem to reward that. So I wanted to be that. But when I eventually started going, okay, this is not the way I work. The way I naturally work is like we said, is experimentation and then working backwards and creating systems from the evidence that I've built through action. Then what I would do is I would just start working way earlier on projects. I needed that extra time to build a system rather than waiting till the last minute. And so that's how I managed myself and led to better outcomes versus trying to become a Sakura, which I am not. All right, let's go to the next slide. All right. So first breakout room. First, I'm going to give you 90 seconds here with some music, and we're going to think of a time when you worked on something and it felt easy or energizing. What made it feel that way, and how might your natural instincts have helped you? All right. So take this time, and I'll see you in 5 minutes. off you go to your breakout rooms. We'll see you in a bit.
Hi, Daryl. It's not sharing in the breakout rooms
Oh,
presentation.
on it.
Thank you.
Shared now.
All right, welcome back, everybody. I heard some great conversation. Who wants to pop up first and share what we talked about in group? Either yours or one of your classmates who shared something that stuck with you. All right, Natalia, come on in.
I know in my group there was a lot of people saying that a time where work on when they worked on something and it felt easier, energizing was when they did like their homework early, which is great because sometimes I feel like that, but I think more often than not for me, if I do my homework later in the day and like I take the time from when I get home to rest and then do my homework, it helps me a lot better. Because like after school I have practice and I'm tired and like I need the break before I start like my academic things, homework. So me doing it later, but like getting it done is what helps me better. That's just like
Okay.
a difference I saw, I think.
Okay. So you say you have practice. Are you doing track right now?
Yeah, track seasons right now. It's kind of rough with like the weather being so weird. Like it's raining and then it's like super duper hot because of the heat wave that just like happened.
Oh, the dog days. Our coach used to make us wear sweatpants either way. Too cold, too
Oh,
hot, everybody's in sweats. But
oh,
I have a follow-up question, Natalia. So if you're, let's say you're super tired after practice and you do not have time to take a break. If you were to think about like you naturally had to get something done,
mm-hmm.
because you're exhausted, what would you pick on as like the easiest? What comes natural to you to get to first that wouldn't take like too much like effort to do?
I'd
Like what takes the least
probably
effort?
I probably could do the classes that like I know require more of me. Like right now, my history class and my algebra 2 class are like more demanding than my other classes. So I'd get
Mhm.
those done first. So then I
Okay.
could wake up early in the morning, which is what I do most of the times when I don't have breaks. I wake up early to do the rest before it's due. And just whatever I know would take me more time is what I do as soon as I get home.
Okay, okay. That's actually from a different session that we had about eat the frog, right? Do the hard thing first, don't save it. I love that. Thank you so much, Natalia. All right, Dr. Castro, come on in.
So in my group, we had like a lot of different responses, mostly something to do with scholarships, sometimes like a project that they had to do. And one that caught me was the fundraising, which mentioned baking and how my classmate managed to do it or like make it feel easy for them is that they already knew how to bake. So that's how the natural interest has helped them because since they already know how to bake, it came so naturally to them instead of asking people for help, which would have made it way more difficult and take way more time to do.
Wow, that's very interesting that baking came up because baking is like chemistry, right? Like it's not really something you do. If you miss the rules, the thing is ruined. So being able to bake intuitively is really helpful. Um, that's very cool. Thanks for sharing. For on that, I guess maybe you guys something to think about, right? Because you maybe didn't talk about is which task specifically in baking was the easiest for them, or which came out more naturally? Like I don't understand like the whole context of baking was easy, but maybe if there was one thing that was super easy, I'd love to hear more about that. And then okay, well, thank you, Francisco. I appreciate you. We'll go ahead with Alejandra.
Hi, so I said a different one in the session, but then I just remembered one where I genuinely felt so excited and happy afterwards. It was my first time doing an AP exam with that being AP World History. And I like even though like the test, like many students were like very tired at the end, I was excited. I was pumped up. I wanted to do it again. And like I felt very confident about like what I learned.
Okay.
And I think what made me feel that way is just my natural love of writing, as well as, being able to invest in a topic like history and actually understanding what's going on and seeing everything connect at the end. And I think that really helped make me feel more prepared and connected towards the exam at the end.
Okay. So it sounds like one, it's like the way you absorb the material is good. I think I heard you in the breakout room say you would really enjoy reading. Right. And that ties really nicely with writing and then seeing the whole context with history. Right. So, okay. So between reading and writing, tell me what do you enjoy most? Right. So, here, I'll give you a specific question. You have a question on the test that says, like, 1902. You have like a book about the historical context of Spain in 1902. And then there is a little section there. You already have some information that you read from school that you know. how much of the section are you taking your time and reading and break it down, or do you immediately start writing and then reference the question as you write?
For me, if I were to do something like that, I always try to skim through the passage first and then kind of look back and remember what I'm thinking, how I'm thinking about. If I've already have like pre-established knowledge on it, then I think it's better for me to reread it to see like maybe I might be like misremembering things. I For me, like I really want to make sure everything I have is accurate. So I just do one initial skim and then I start writing. And then I go
Okay.
back and gradually add more stuff.
Okay, so I want you to hold on to that, right? Because what you said is you don't immediately start writing. You need to like first gather things, right? Okay, awesome. That was a great example. Thank you so much, Alejandro, and thank you for everybody who participated. Let's go to the next slide. All right. So here are the four Kolbe action modes. Okay. And then this is where Alejandro's answer is actually really helpful. So I want everybody to pick one and tell me, well, not everybody, someone to volunteer to help me read these off. I want four volunteers. And just let me know your understanding of the four buckets, the four modes. So I just want to see four hands and we can get into it. All right, there's one. There's two. There's three. We got a new one. Okay, I just need one more. Let's see, one more, one more. There it is. Angelina saves the day. All right, Brian, jump in and we're gonna click on the first one. Tell me about the fact finder.
All right. Wait.
So basically, sorry, I was unclear. How does Fact Finder relate to our conversation today? So the way I would describe Fact Finder is likes to dig deep in research before acting, like Alejandra, asks lots of questions and wants clarity, and prefers detailed instructions and facts before making a decision. Tell me how that relates to the way you work.
All right. For fact finder, it says high initiating fact finder, and then low is counteracting fact finder.
And so how would you rate yourself?
So I would rate myself very low.
Okay.
I think I need to work on that.
No, 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 no. So this is beautiful. The whole exercise today is there are no wrong answers. It's just
Okay.
knowing we all have every part of this. We have this, each one of us,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
you'll just say like, I don't use this as much, right?
Okay, okay. Yeah, like I'm being aware of it. Okay, I get
Yeah,
it.
exactly, exactly. So you're saying like you're a little bit low. So one of as we go through this, and I work with the other volunteers here, you might see one that you go like, oh, I'm definitely that. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you, Brian. Okay, Alejandra, come on in, and we're on number two.
Follow through. High, initiating follow through. Low, counteracting follow through.
Okay, so follow through. How you organize? Do you create structured systems or adapt and find shortcuts rather than following a strict process? High would be naturally creates plans, systems, checklists, like structure, consistency, clear routine, organize, prefers following processes in order. Low would be adapts easily when plans change, connects ideas across different systems, finds creative ways to get things done, keyword being creative, and then prefers flexibility over strict routines. So, given that, are you high or low, Alejandra?
I think I'm leaning towards high, mostly because even though it doesn't look like it, most of the time I do have things scheduled out in my head and I plan it out in a way that I feel more comfortable doing. Does it come to through action? That's a different question, but I usually like to have things like set up in my head and I try to follow it as closely as possible.
Okay, awesome. And then you said something interesting. You said it doesn't look like it. What does that mean?
Like sometimes I might have some shifts onto how I do like mental like scheduling or how I think an assignment should be done. And I try to find different ways to build off of that. Like let's say I was reading an assignment and I was looking and like the original mindset that I was going with ended up shifting. I take a moment and go, all right, what can I do now? And try to build off something else from there.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. So you have a way of organizing that's in your head that makes complete sense to you. I love that. Thank you, Alejandra. All right, Edith, we are on number three. Read that to me.
Quick start. High. Initiating quick start. Low. Counteracting quick start.
All right, here's quick start. How you deal with change. Do you take risks and innovate or prefer to stabilize and build on what works? For high, we have jumps into new ideas and experiments quickly, comfortable with change and taking risks, gets energy from trying things that haven't been done before. Or are you low, the counteracting, brings stability to situations and reduces chaos, prefers to improve what already works instead of reinventing, and thinks through changes carefully before taking action.
So I would put, I would not, I would say that I'm low.
Okay,
I
tell me more about that.
don't really like trying or like doing the things and like being super out there. I'm trying to change that about myself though, but I personally prefer like stability
Okay,
because at least I like already know what to expect and I don't have to like, and there's nothing like unexpected. Like I already kind of know what's gonna happen.
so you really like the structure.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to tell you the same thing I told Brian. It's we're not trying to change ourselves here. Okay. We're just trying to uncover who we are, and then we are going to work with who we are. Okay. So there's no wrong answer. So if you like structure, you like structure. So then you can go about in when work comes your way, you know that you need to build structure around it or ask for as much information as possible to get a clearer picture. So thank you, Edith. All right. And last but not least, we've got Angelina. Come on in.
Implementer. High, initiating implementer. Low, and counteracting implementer.
Okay, Angelina, so how you work with the physical world? Do you like to model or build solutions in real space or prefer to imagine them? So a high implementer would be you like to build, model, or physically demonstrate ideas. Think of like a whiteboard. Prefers hands-on learning and tangible tools. Understands space, design, and mechanics easily. That's high. Low would be imagines and visualizes solutions instead of physically building them. We heard that from Alejandra. Prefers working with digital tools or abstract ideas. Or three, can see how things would work without needing to touch or construct them. So, given that, are you high or low?
I think I would definitely be a high like person because like the low like I think I kind of suck like at technology and like visually not being able to see something like I feel like I don't understand. And like looking at like the options or what like what kind of like takes part as part of the high like for
Hmm.
me it would probably be a whiteboard like literally next to my bed like on the side I have a whiteboard.
You're
So
literally
like yeah,
that.
so like I feel like for me to like understand things, I have to physically write them down or like my planner too. Like
Yeah.
if not, like maybe like some people tell me I have to do something, but I will completely forget. Like so I have to like write things down or like even for problems, like I don't know, like it just like engraves better into my head.
Yeah, no, that's great that you know that, right? So if I stood here and told you an entire speech about what you need to do, you'd be like, I need to see it. Like,
Yeah.
right. So you go like, okay, if I'm understanding you correct, and then you start drawing it out.
Yeah, or like an example too. Like I would have to like I have to put it into practice kind of and like visually really understand it.
Okay. Well, if you
Mhm.
can think of right now, Angelina, what was the last thing that you had to whiteboard? Like what's on your whiteboard right now, if you don't mind, if
Oh,
it's not too personal.
as my calculus notes because I'm
Okay.
trying to study for the AP exam. Yeah. So, we're doing like units 1 through 4 right now, just kind of focusing on those again, revisiting them. So it has like the limits and everything that like we learned towards the beginning and like kind of just like the rules and everything for me to like really like get them stuck in my head and that way I'm like okay I already know them I wrote them down like so that I feel like it kind of sticks better to me. Hmm.
That's brilliant. No, that is the perfect example of someone who's high implementer using their strength for them, right? You're not going through and reading the textbook. You're actually using the visualization tool to make sure it sticks so you can be successful. All right, I appreciate you, Angelina, and we're rooting for you on that AP exam. Okay, let's
Thank
go to
you.
the next. You're welcome. Let's go to the next slide. All right, we're at workbook question two. We're going to take 90 seconds per usual, and then we're going to go into our breakout rooms and discuss. Looking at the four action modes, which ones do you tend to like to do first when approaching a problem? Okay, that's our time. Before you go, I just put the four action modes in chat. I had a request for them, so you have them there if you wanted to copy them and take them with you to your breakout rooms. All right, I'll see you back here in 5 minutes. All right, welcome back, welcome back. All right, who's ready to share out? Let's get a volunteer, or this panda's gonna go hunting. There's one. All right, Anthony just saved you. Come on in, Anthony.
Hello. All right, boom. So, four actions. I kind of
Boom.
lost them. They were in the chat somewhere, but I think one of them said quick start, and
Yes.
one I chose because I have something. It's like that confidence that I know that maybe I can't do something right now, but I eventually can. So I just got to get the ball rolling and risk it for the biscuit.
Okay, give me an example of the time that you sort of like just got in to work on like a project you're working on for school
Uh-oh.
or work.
All right, so I'm trying to think back. I'm not really good at memorizing my things, but let's say the first time I ever joined a sport, I remember I was a little kid, 13, right? I joined cross country, and it was a super scary thing. I had never run more than like a mile, and I was there my first meet. I was super nervous, but I just went ahead and started running, and I just knew I couldn't stop until I got to the finish line, and I've been running since then.
Okay, I'm gonna push you a little bit. So this year, which subject have you has been the most challenging, and how have you like tell me how you like use that quick start to approach it?
Oh man. So right now I'm taking AP Calc and it's relatively easy. It's just my teacher, she has a very unique way of teaching. Like she wants us there Tuesday mornings, Saturday mornings. So what I try to do is I do good on the tests, but sometimes I start lagging on the homework. So I've been starting to adopt this semester the mentality of like jump on the work and let the work jump on you. So everything I do, I know if the homework's hard or the practice tests are hard, it's gonna take me a while, but I just need to start doing it and eventually I'll finish it. But if I don't start, I'll never ever do it.
Okay, so your hurdle is just getting started. Once you get started, you'll figure it out, right? All right, love that. And you know what, Anthony, because you volunteer when nobody else would, you get to popcorn. So you get
No,
to choose
that's
an
messed up.
unsuspecting victim.
I don't like doing that. That's messed up.
We got to do it. Teacher said you got to do it. So pick
All right,
somebody. All
let's choose Sakura.
right, thank you. Come on in, Sakura.
Yeah, so I think I'm probably either fact finder or implementer just because I like to think about like I mentioned, just like coming up with that plan before really like also researching like certain things before jumping into it because I feel like if I just jump into that problem, like I might get lost and make a mistake, and that's like kind of why I plan it out first rather than go in.
Okay. So you would say fact finder would be top. Sounds like quick start is your bottom. So since it's like an index, right? So you're using all at the same time. So my question to you would be, what would come in second of these four?
Probably implementer. Even I'm gonna be honest, like I'm not 100% sure what that one is about, but I think like more implementer.
Okay. So you kind of like, did you need to draw it out, start like using objects around you to sort of see the problem kind of deal?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. I think I could be a very like visual person. I know like for we're gonna take out calculus again. I had my teacher when we were thinking about like figures that are revolving. He actually like
Uh-huh.
3D printed like something to show the visual of like what a graph looks like when it's revolving like by the x-axis, and that's like all calculus stuff. And that really helped me to like figure it out a little bit better.
Okay. Cool. So Sakura, high fact finder, and then secondary would be implementer. I appreciate that. All right. Do you want to pick one more person?
Yeah, sure. Let me go ahead and is he in here? Let me go ahead. I think pick on uh Sophia.
All right. Come on in, Sophia. Thanks, Sakura.
Um, so um the like one of the modes that I would tend to use is probably fact finder
Okay. Tell me more about that.
because I feel like knowing a situation to the fullest is what solves the problem the most because like it would just make everything less complicated, I guess.
Okay. I'll do the same thing I did with Sakura. If I could block fact finder, what's the next one for you that you would go to?
Mm. Probably to just follow through.
Follow through? Okay, tell me about that.
Um, Maybe because it would just like be less stressful if you
Okay.
just follow through or something. Yeah.
Oh, that you brought in something interesting, which is like nervous system management. So like fact finding and follow through, I see how those would be like really correlated because in both there's like structure, right? I need all the information that I can move forward. And if I don't have all the information, okay, I can build a system that'll allow me to use the little that I have to move forward kind of deal. I like that. Thank you, Sophia, for jumping in. Okay, let's go ahead and thank you, everyone. Let's go ahead to the next slide. And we're going to be in the breakout room again. Oh, no, that's where we just left. Pardon me. So, as I mentioned earlier, this is all about leveraging your natural strengths and collaborating with others, right? So the more that you're aware of your natural strength, the more that obviously you can manage yourself, but the more that you can communicate in a group around what you can bring to a project. And that kind of like lowers the friction. It doesn't like, it actually lowers the friction. So when you work the way you're built, you perform at your best. So lean into those natural strengths. And then you can also be aware of your blind spots. Knowing where you struggle helps you ask for help or build support systems or pick a partner, right? Like the easiest example is when you look at a lot of successful startups here in Silicon Valley, you have the visionary business mind, etc., and then the detail-oriented engineer, and then they work on both of them have like catch each other's blind spots, so you create like one strong unit, right? So use your Kolbe type to communicate better. Explain your style to teachers, teammates, so they understand how you work best. And in teams, combine strengths. Fact finders analyze, follow throughs plan, quick starts innovate, implementers build. And that success will come from respecting different instincts and designing roles where each person can thrive. And again, there is no right combination. There's just surfacing the way you and your potential future teams work. Let's go to the next slide. All right, now we've got 90 seconds and our final workbook question. Who wants to steal some free points and read the question out for everyone? All right, that's okay. Let's go ahead and get 90 seconds. Oh, there we go. Diana, come on in.
How could you use your Colby strengths to make your schoolwork, friendships, or future career easier and more successful?
Yeah, that's right. So you can use this in your personal life too. So in the breakout rooms, feel free to use personal anecdotes if you'd like. Okay. So we're going to give you 90 seconds and then I'll see you back here in 5 minutes after the breakout rooms. All right. Off you pop to the last breakout room. See you in a bit. Hey Nathan, are you seeing the breakout room on your screen? Welcome back, everyone. Thank you, Jesus, for letting me put you on the spot. That was a great answer. All right. So, who would like to go first on speak on behalf of their team or themselves? Tell me about how you're using your Kolbe strengths. I've got time for one good one. Let's see, who hasn't spoken yet? No hands, not one. How about Lauren Acuna? Hi, Lauren.
Um, I said one of Colby's strengths I can use to make my schoolwork, friendships, or future career easier is by communicating better. So like in this way, I can like prevent mistakes, I can build trust, solve problems, and get my needs met. Just so everything resolved more quickly once I know what direction I'm going in.
Perfect. Thank you for your answer. And Lauren, I'm going to ask you a follow-up question. What kind of tasks or situations drain your energy, and how could you partner with others who are good in those areas?
Um, I feel like for me, like when I'm really like stumped on something and like I'm all by myself, so I feel like the way I can solve that is just like asking for help from like a classmate or a teacher, or just anyone who can help me get past that obstacle just so I don't have to worry about it that much.
Oh, good. That's a very balanced response. I thought you were gonna say when I'm asked to respond without knowing it's coming in class. So thank you for volunteering. Okay, so we're running short on time, so let's go ahead to the next slide. Thank you for your participation. All right, so that's the class for today. Next week, we'll be learning about reflecting on your growth throughout this past semester. I can't believe it's coming to an end. I'm going to miss you, seniors. And look ahead with intention. You'll revisit key lessons from mindset and resilience to communication, self-awareness, budget, and compound interest. I want to see who's been budgeting. We said we were going to talk about that. And self-awareness, identifying what has resonated most and how your thinking has evolved through reflection and goal setting. Student, you'll connect and share what you've learned to and how you're going to use that in what you go to next. And then let us know what you want to grow next. Knowing that personal development is an ongoing journey of reflection, action, and becoming. Like I told you last week, guys, I had never heard of the Kolbe Index, so I had to go study it. So I'm learning with you all. So thank you so much for showing up, and thank you to our alumni and student leaders for running those breakout rooms. Let's go to the next slide, please. I'm going to give you 90 seconds real quick just to finish up anything that's there, and then we'll finish up with the announcements, and that's it for today. So 90 seconds. time for the run to the finish. Let's go to the next slide and the announcements time. So, reminder, your workbook and survey form close this Friday at 5 p.m. Don't miss your points. Link will be in the chat. The Ignite Speaker Series post survey. If you attended the Ignite Speaker Series last Monday, which I think was yesterday, right? Please don't forget to complete the post survey. This is important so you won't miss out on your points. If you have any issues with that, please stay late and talk to staff. The survey link will be in the chat box as well. Date is April 10th at 5 is the deadline. You also have your final field trip of the semester. Don't miss this one. It's the networking event. Interested in joining? Fill out the form to be added to the wait list. We'll reach out if a spot becomes available. We highly encourage you to sign up. At the network event, you'll practice connecting with 6+ professionals in small groups. Learn how to confidently start conversations through a live demo and mini sessions on networking and communication, and use connection cards to follow up with the people you meet. You'll also have the chance to take a professional headshot to boost your personal brand, plus enjoy fun prizes and interactive moments throughout the event. Two things I want to highlight. Headshots are expensive. Take advantage, come dressed for a professional headshot. You won't regret it. And then second, following up with people is crucial. You don't know what next opportunity is going to come out of this event. The field trip is April 12th, so that's this Sunday, I believe, April 12th. And RSVP deadline is the 9th, so get on that wait list if you haven't already. And then SASH pickup form for students. So SASH pickup this is for the seniors in this group. SASH pickup is for graduating youth champions seniors. Join us on Saturday, May 16th from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. May 16th, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the Lee and Associates downtown office. I believe the address should be in there, 1201 North Main Street, Los Angeles. To claim your sash and celebrate the milestone, I think it's about 10 minutes. They'll have snacks for you guys, and there may be a picture as well. I think you can wear that to your senior graduation. Fill out the form if you're picking up your sash. There's also going to be games and free snacks as well. And that's it from me. Thank you again for a wonderful session. Thank you, YC chat staff, for making everything go so smoothly. Thank you, Derail. And let me get some emojis on the way out. I appreciate you.